It can be very challenging to take pictures of a place that doesn't have a lot going on, especially in a small town like this. But with a little bit of creativity, you can produce some great pictures. So one of the things I get asked a lot is, how do you take good photos in a rural town? I'm from Boston, so when I go out, there's always something going on. If I take my camera, I can always get a lot of great shots of very interesting people and places. But now that there's a quarantine, I'm back home in New Hampshire and living in the middle of nowhere. It's really tough to take interesting photos. But with a little bit of creativity and time, I'm gonna show you that it's not that difficult to take some great pictures even in the middle of the woods. There's a lot of interesting things going on with nature, animals, with rural housing. You can take some very cinematic photos, and I'm gonna show you how. So the first tip for you guys is to actually just take your camera out and go shoot. Honestly, just go out and take pictures, because you never know what's gonna happen. Sometimes you're just gonna get something really interesting. If you bring your camera out, that's going to inspire you to want to take pictures. Just by the action of you bringing your camera out, your mind will go through a creative process on its own, and you're automatically going to be looking for interesting things to shoot. And because you're looking, you're going to find more opportunities. If you just sit around and think about what you're gonna shoot, it's going to take a long time, and you're really not gonna have any inspiration from that because you're just sitting around, you're not taking any action. But if you're to just bring your camera and just go for a walk, that can actually inspire a lot of creativity in what you can take. And because you're already in that mindset, you're gonna find some great photos. You're gonna see mundane objects like a tree or a car or a mailbox or a street. Because you have your camera, you can try different angles, you can try different lighting, and you'd be surprised at what kind of shots you'll get. So, number one tip is to just go out with your camera. Just go out with your camera with the intention to take pictures. You may end up with no good pictures, but you're more likely to end up with some great shots. But if you were to just sit around at home and do nothing, you're always gonna get no results. One of the best things about a small town, especially one that you grew up in, is that there's a lot of personal history with it. Because it's somewhere you grew up in, you have a lot of emotional attachment to this town. Because of that, you can actually try to tell your own story through your pictures. Now, it doesn't even have to be just one picture. It could be a photo set that tells about the loneliness or the quaintness or the unique, quirky culture of your town. For me, I took pictures of my high school, which I've never taken pictures of before because I was not interested in photography when I was in high school. But nowadays, with my current interest, I brought my camera to where I used to go to high school, and I was able to create a lot of good pictures from that, just purely based on that emotional connection I had with the school that raised me. I also went to a local library where I used to spend all my afternoons in, and I was able to take some great shots of that. And just by walking around the town, you can get some amazing shots because you know it's gonna look good because it's based on your personal history with that town. See, as a photographer, we're always trained to tell other people's stories. We take pictures of them, we take pictures of different houses, of different products for a client. That's always their story. It's not yours. So when you're home and you have a lot of time, you can actually use this opportunity to talk about yourself, to showcase your own personality, and to showcase your own hometown, to tell the audience a little bit about yourself. As a photographer, a lot of us are so focused on the client, we don't really treat ourselves as the subject. So what I recommend is that because you have a camera and you're going out to take pictures, you're gonna run into a lot of nostalgic places, and just use that nostalgia and dive into that emotional component and take those pictures, and I guarantee you're gonna tell some compelling stories through your photographs. So you're in a small town, you ask, how do I actually take these photos? Well, turns out you can use a lot of the same techniques you use in a city as you do in a small town. So for example, I'm shooting the sunset, right? And I shoot sunsets a lot in a city, but I never shot a sunset here in a town. So my mom and I, we went out, we found where the sun was going to be setting, and we found the best time to go, which was around 8:30 now in the summer. And we just waited for the sun to be set, and we took some great shots. So another great set of photos you can take are portraits. And portraits are very flexible as long as you have a model. You can take them anywhere. I usually take them on the streets, so I really like street photography. But here in the woods, in a rural town, I can still take some great photos with my model as long as you have someone. So for me, I grabbed my mom and the two of us, we went out to the town. With my camera, I was able to take some great portraits. With those three techniques, hopefully it will inspire you to take photos regardless where you are, whether you're in a city, you're in a small town, you're in the middle of the woods. If you like taking pictures, I encourage you to just always go out and unleash your creativity. With these techniques, hopefully you'll take a lot of great shots. Now watch me take this shot.